Retcon prophecies and prophets versus real prophecies and prophets. Okay, it's the beginning of 2025, so you're going to hear all kinds of prophecies going out, especially if you're in the charismatic church world. I've been in the charismatic church world since my birth. Okay, so I've heard a lot of these things. So what am I talking about? Retconning prophets. All right, a lot of these sensational things come out. God is going to do these either really good sensational things, or God's going to do these really bad sensational things. But the thing they have in common, they're all really sensational. Then at the end of the year, we find out that big name prophet Billy Bob is wrong. So what do? How do these people keep functioning? They do something called retconning. Now, they may be deluded themselves. I'm not saying they're intentionally trying to delude you. I think a lot of them are deluded themselves. So retconning is a term they use in the entertainment field to either fix mistakes or change the plot. And a lot of these guys, they kind of function almost as entertainers anyway. You know, they got their on the road show, their merch tables outside the conferences and all that sort of thing. But in retconning, let's say that there's a mistake made, like, there's an episode where this guy shows up to a wedding. He was wearing a blue jacket, and then later on, he's wearing a red jacket. Okay, it's just a mistake that was made. So maybe they need a plot change, or they need to fix that mistake. They have another episode and they say, he stepped outside and somebody mugged him or something like that, and he had to borrow somebody else's jacket or something like that. And they might have a whole episode about him stepping outside, or just explain, things like that. Well, that's what these guys have to do. At the end of the year, let's say they say, there's going to be a major revival that's going to sweep down Interstate 40. And it's going to change lives. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're, picturing from, California to North Carolina, this amazing revival happening. And then at the end of the year, it doesn't happen. And they go back and go, they get reports from two little churches that had extra services one night. And they're like, yes, here it is. Here, the revival happened. Okay. It's totally not in the expectation of the way that they gave the prophecy. Or they'll say something, somehow they'll blame you, right? They always got to blame you, like, well, you didn't pray hard enough. God wanted to do this, but, there was a principality over Amarillo, Texas that blocked everything, And so that's how they stay in business. That's how they keep the cash rolling in. Now, what is real prophecy? I would say most of the time, real prophecy is going to come from people that It's not going to come from big prophet Billy Bob. That could happen, but most of the time it's going to be from people In the Bible, in Corinthians, Paul is talking about these house meetings, and he's saying there might be multiple prophets in a little house meeting, not this big, giant, stadium meeting like we picture, okay? So real prophecy it should come from somebody, most of the time from somebody This is what happened to me. I went through a divorce years ago, wasn't looking to date anyone for the most part, or get involved with anyone. I was just going to, serve the Lord on TikTok or whatever. And so I wasn't out there dating or anything like that. Multiple people came to me. I didn't seek them out. Multiple people, 3 to be exact, came to me and said, you're going to be married. One of them even gave me a time frame. He said, you're going to be married within, I think it was 3 years. All right. Another person, Stephanie, actually at a meeting at her house said, hey, there is somebody that you're going to do kingdom work with. You're going to be working with them in marriage. And I wasn't looking for that. And I told Stephanie, no. We had a big laugh over that. And it wasn't long after Stephanie gave me that prophecy that I did actually meet my wife. Another weird coincidence that happened, I don't think it was a coincidence, but the guy that had told me, you'll meet your wife, you'll be married in 3 years, I had got him to come speak at our church. He was a personal friend of mine. And I actually almost did not go to the event where I met my wife at because I was with this guy at my church. This was a 2 or 3 day event, and I missed the first day or two, but went to the third and met my wife there. So he was kind of involved. So he had given the prophecy, and then in a way he was kind of involved when I did meet her. All of these things came from kind of informal, so to speak. I think one of them was after a church service, but the other two were one was at somebody else's wedding, one was at Stephanie's one of Stephanie's meetings. So these were kind of informal things. It wasn't this big, grandiose, big shot people that told me these things, and they were absolutely true, and God confirmed them in a lot of different ways. And again, it was very personal, very simple. It wasn't overly flowery, like you're gonna run through fields of lavender, and you know what I mean. It was very practical, down to earth thing. Like, this is gonna happen. I mean, that guy was pretty bold. He said, "Hey, you're gonna be in 3 years," and it was 3 years. So, you've probably endured a lot of Prophet Billy Bobs like I have, saying all this crazy, wacky stuff that never really comes true. But the Bible tells us not to despise prophecies, but just simply test them. And so if you're getting all these words, whether it's from some big name person or somebody else, and none of it ever comes true, okay? Just hold on to what is good, okay? Kind of dismiss that other stuff and don't worry about it. Because if all of Prophet Billy Bob's prophecies came true anyway, he wouldn't have any more books to write. God bless you. Let's get back to real, authentic Christianity. If you want to call it church meetings. God bless you.